Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandon. If you told me the Patriots would spend over $220 million in free agency, I'd call you a liar and an idiot to your face, Perna. But that happened. If I told you I was actually rooting for them to put a good team around Cam Newton, you'd call me a liar. But here we are. I'm actually excited to see what Cam Newton can do now that he has some offensive weapons. The kind of weapons that might have kept Tom Brady in New England. Today, in the Free Agency Award Show Part 2, basically my version of the Dundies, we have Ryan Fitzpatrick joining his 9th NFL team, my under-the-radar signings, the Titans getting better and worse, and a moment of silence for our fallen NFL players. I, of course, mean all of those guys who signed with the Texans. Let's get sports! You gotta subscribe here. Unless you think this sucks, then don't. Today's episode is sponsored by buyraycon.com/thatsgood, which will blast 15% off your order of Raycon earbuds. There are many reasons I love my Raycons, but here are my top 3. First, they look good in your head, sleek with colors to match any sports coat. Yeah, with nothing weird sticking out of your ears to make you look like a robot. Second, they are priced better than any other premium wireless earbuds. Thirdly, the charging/storage case they come in gives you more battery life than you'll ever use in a single day. The earbuds themselves will go for like 6 hours, but if you keep them in their case when not using them, you'll find yourself rarely having to charge your earbuds. So click my link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/thatsgood to get 15% off your order. And please, stop sending me your mixtapes to listen to with my Raycons. Not even those will make them sound good. And the Free Agency Award show continues. Best surprise move? The Bachelor for signing free agent Emmanuel Acho to close out the season. Just like the Patriots signing Jonnu Smith before Hunter Henry, The Bachelor is doing everything it can to show they are not racially insensitive, as they do everything in their power to distance themselves from Chris Harrison. The Double Your Pleasure, Double Your Fun award goes to Jesus Christ, the Patriots for signing tight end Hunter Henry after they signed Jonnu Smith and Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne. You never see an NFL team take the top 2 free agents at the same position group, especially one that just drafted 2 players at that position. The Patriots spending spree is either going to go down as an all-time great free agency period, and not just for the Patriots, but for any team, or it's going to blow up in their face. If Tom Brady were still in New England, I would be livid right now, but since they have questions surrounding the quarterback position, I'm about 50-50 on whether I should toast or roast them. If you factor in all of the opt-outs returning in New England, they may have the biggest influx of players outside of an expansion team. Many people think Cam Newton is probably ecstatic about all of his new weapons. I think he's scared he won't have any excuses if he sucks again in 2021. I love that Bill Belichick wanted a watered-down virgin version of Gronk and Hernandez, and now he has that with Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. Plus, when Cam Newton played his best football, Greg Olsen had 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. So even though Cam's $14 million contract only has like $5 million guaranteed, this double dipping in tight ends, great porn name, by the way, may suggest a commitment to Cam Newton, and I think he will succeed with those tight ends. It is a massive upgrade for a team that loves to run double tight end sets that ran the fewest double tight end sets last year. And here's why Patriots fans should be optimistic. The Patriots put up 35 points per game in 2012 with the combo of Gronk and Hernandez, and Josh McDaniels. And I can't think of any other important pieces missing from that equation. No, they got all they need. Also, I think the Kendrick Bourne signing is a bit underrated. That happened after I was 99% done with yesterday's episode about free agency, but he feels like a prototypical Patriots receiver. And by that, I mean a guy nobody talks about. He's a great route runner, did struggle with drops last year, which makes him just like Julian Edelman. So again, good fit with the Patriots. But Bourne was catching passes from multiple quarterbacks. Now he'll just have to learn how to catch passes from Cam Newton, who torpedoes the ball with the same velocity for 8-yard passes as he does for 40-yard passes. Now, my Rest in Peace award goes to everyone who signed with the Houston Texans.
On water, y'all think Jesus like crip walked on water, like he got out there, he was just like, hey, how y'all doing? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Okay.
Because all of your careers are now over. So let's have a moment to recognize every man who will never play a meaningful snap again in the NFL. Kevin Pierre-Louis. Andre Roberts, who must think the Texans are the same team that beat the Bills in the 2020 postseason. Christian Kirksey, Malik Collins, Justin McCray-Cray, my favorite radiation detector Camu Geiger Counter Hill, Mark No More Truss Ingram, Chris Moore, Vincent Taylor, Terrence Brooks, Joe Thomas, no, not that one, and Traymon Smith. Rest in peace, my friends. Now, Ryan Fitzpatrick decided it was time a real man started defending America and agreed to a 1-year deal in Washington. When we try and read about Ryan Fitzpatrick in history books, it's going to be very difficult, considering he will now have played for 9 different football teams, with one of them being called the football team. Let me know in the comments which will be harder to keep track of, the amount of kids Phillip Rivers has or the amount of teams Ryan Fitzpatrick will have played for, because they're happening at the same rate. I love this move for the Washington football team. Fitzmagic can win with that defense now, and he's got a playing style similar to Taylor Heineke, so he'll be a good mentor, assuming Heineke can grow a beard. I still think Washington will be looking to draft a quarterback, but based on what the Eagles and Giants have done in free agency, nothing. I think Washington is the team to beat in the NFC East again. I know Dak will be back with Dallas, but that defense still needs a lot of work. The biggest Even Stevens award in early free agency goes to the Tennessee Titans. Don't get me wrong, I like the Bud Dupree signing. They needed pass rushing help, and they will get it with you, me, and Bud Dupree. And also signed defensive tackle Danico Autry, who put together 3 great seasons with the Colts and will bring the kind of interior pressure that I think Dupree needs to succeed on the edge. Now, the Titans made those 2 big moves for their defense, but this is a team that turned into an offensive powerhouse, and they let 2 key pieces of that offense walk in tight end Jonnu Smith and wide receiver Corey Davis. That's why they get the Even Stevens award. They are going to be better on defense, but definitely worse on offense. Derrick Henry is amazing, but you can't bank on 2,000-yard seasons every year. He will decline at some point. And I like the chemistry Tannehill finally developed with Corey Davis. Corey Davis will now be catching his passes from Sam Darnold or other in New York after signing a 3-year, $37.5 million deal with the Jets. Davis is coming off of his best season with 65 receptions, 5 touchdowns, and 984 receiving yards. The Titans were 16 yards away from having 2,000-yard receivers in the same season. I just don't see them repeating that. And I honestly thought there would be a bigger run on wide receivers in day 1 of the tampering period. As of Tuesday morning, Kenny Golladay, Juju Smith-Schuster, Will Fuller, and Curtis Samuel all still available. I think this is an issue of saturation where both the wide receivers and NFL teams are exploring their options. I think teams are considering whether or not they should pay a lot of money for a guy like Juju Smith-Schuster or maybe less money for someone like T.Y. Hilton on a shorter deal. But I'm sure the next video will be about all of the receivers and where they just signed. I can't find my keys because they're so low. Loki Award goes to the Browns for signing safety John Johnson. The skinny safety who can only receive the Johnson & Johnson vaccine will be in Cleveland for 3 years at $33.75 million, with $24 million guaranteed. After watching Andrew Sendejo try and make 100% of his tackles with his head down and his eyes parallel to the ground, the Browns realized they needed to upgrade. And they will get rookie Grant Delpit back, hopefully a healthy stretch as well from Denzel Ward and Greedy Williams at the corner positions to quickly improve their greatest weakness in 2020, their secondary. John Johnson was a top 5 safety in 2020 and has basically been a top 10 player at his position since entering the league in 2017. So good job, Cleveland, for doing basically the exact opposite of what the Bengals did. The Bengals get my least self-aware award. Now, Cincinnati did get better on defense. Trey Hendrickson is a really good pass rusher coming off a 14-sack season, so the Carl Lawson departure should sting less. And I think getting out of Dallas will be great for corner Chidobe Awuzie. That's a smarter move than what they did last year and just signing all of the corners the Vikings no longer wanted, and Jesse Bates is probably the single most underrated safety in the NFL. 2 decent moves on defense. But the Bengals need to protect Joe Burrow. They were a terrible pass blocking unit. They should have signed either Joe Thuney or Kevin Zeitler. Remember when you fucked up and let Kevin Zeitler and Andrew Whitworth both walk at the same time in free agency, Cincinnati? Well, you should, because you've been reeling on the line since. I think Jonah Williams will develop into a good left tackle, and you could have accelerated that growth by sticking Thuney or Zeitler next to him at guard. Guard was your biggest need, and you whipped Cincinnati. Joe Burrow is the guy, which means you gotta start making plays to help him. Your next target, though, there are still some decent guards out there, should be Kyle Long. But I'm guessing you'll pursue Forrest Lamp, who has been injured and underperformed every season with the Chargers. I love Lamp. Free agency's gonna continue. I'll keep making videos here, give some overall grades, which teams got better and worse as things progress. But my final award for today is the Fuck Russell Wilson Award. Granted to him by his own team, the Seattle Seahawks, who let corner Shaquil Griffin sign with the Jaguars. Pretty good signing for Jacksonville. He can be paired with the 9th overall pick from last year's draft, corner CJ Henderson, and of course, probably Trevor Lawrence. The Seahawks lose another good defensive player, so have fun, Russell. Unless, of course, they trade you. Oh, thanks for watching That's Good Sports here on YouTube. Please subscribe. I do football news almost all day, every day. And if that's not a good plug for my show, then it's just not.